we now have an interview with a beautiful individual. Look at him. Just look at him for a second. This is Hype Anchor. This is Ank Nerd in the chat right now. Look at him. Hello, baby.
Yo, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up, Keith? Let me turn you up real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, we get a round of applause for this beautiful soul. It's Hype Anchor. Welcome to the show, baby. How's your day going, bro?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, man?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I see us here repping that Hype Unit merch. We out here synchronizing and shit, dude. Like, you're looking fly. You're looking fly.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I just got back home, so I just sat down when you messaged me.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time to be here. I know you're a busy guy.
Nah,
The way that it's going to work is I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. We're going to be doing this interview for about half an hour. And just to get to learn a little bit about you. So firstly, before we even talk about Hype, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the whole scene in the first place.
All right. Well, I'm Anchor. I've been on Twitch since like 2012, probably. Kind of random accounts. I didn't really know how to stream, but I watched a lot of Tim, Tapman, Summit, and Josh OG. He used to be Weed, the Gears player.
Subscriber.
I want a Ninja as well back like in Halo days because I'm a huge Halo fan. After
Same.
that, I started streaming 2014.
Wow, okay.
I was part of a small Instagram team called I, and then parted ways after I felt like it was time. A few months later, I joined Dare Rising as a streamer. Did that. Then I was in Obey.
Wow.
Then I started college. Went off and stopped streaming, and now I'm doing social media for Hype.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you're getting into teams like obviously Dare and Obey and no easy feat. So, you know, moving obviously through your roles, what is it that you were doing in them teams compared to what you're doing now? Was it always the same role or did you go in for something else?
So I started off as a streamer, just kind of doing my thing. Back when I was in prime, like my prime, I was playing Black Ops 3.
Yeah.
I was pulling anywhere from like 60 to 70 viewers average, just
Nice.
ground war, sniping, just hanging out.
Yeah.
8 to 9 hours every single day. I wasn't in college yet, so I had no like nothing to do other than stream. So that's all I did.
Yeah.
And I got picked up to Dare, and I became the stream lead, just kind of managing and doing what I could. But I didn't really have the power to do anything. I was just the face of the stream team, but didn't really get to make choices. After that, the stream lead of Obey hit me up right when I joined Dare and told me to join one day. So after I left Dare, joined Obey. Then I started school, so I just didn't have the time to stream. So yeah,
interesting.
Pretty much the same.
Just as a general question, how do you find it, or how did you find it? Because I'm curious myself. How did you find it being in these like what they call them, like mahoosive teams? Did you find it overwhelming? How did you find like the whole process? I'm sure everybody in the chat would also be really interested to know like your experience.
So coming from like a small community like I did, I came from a team that was only on Instagram. We had like 10,000 followers, not very active. And I go from a team that has quite a bit. Yeah, I found it a little overwhelming. Like I had to step it up because I really wasn't from the sniping community where all these teams are from. So I didn't really feel like I felt in because I just didn't know the standards. I didn't know like how they do things. But it was definitely like overwhelming at first, especially getting put as stream lead because I have everyone coming to me about what should I do to do this and how should I do this? When can you pick me up? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. So
damn. So you kind of just got thrown in the deep end and then just kind of had to deal with all the shit, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was all new to me, and I guess it still was for a long time. I just didn't know how to like react to anything.
Yeah. And then you said you went to school, right? And then obviously everything got really busy and you backed out of it. So tell us between that transition phase between school and then you getting into Hype, like how did you then get back into it? Did you start like time managing, decided that you wanted to get back into it, or how did it all work for you?
So I've known Ninxie since 2014 when I was in my first team off the Instagram community. And I've always had communications with them. No matter what team I was in, we've always been friends.
Sure.
And we've talked back and forth about me. I was in Orbit helping them out for a little bit.
Okay.
I was supposed to come on to, I think, Myth to help out for a while. I can't remember if it was Myth or early Hype. But after that, I just told him, I was like, hey, man, I just graduated or I'm about to graduate. Where can I fit into, Hype? Like, where can I help? Because I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And we talked for like a week or two, and they were like, you know what? let's give it a test run, and then start doing things.
Was there any particular reason why, apart from obviously knowing Ninxie, that you wanted to join Hype and at the time that you did come into the team?
Well, I knew Ninxie. I've known him for a long time. I know how dedicated he is to things and how he works, like just his mentality. So I was like, you know what? I think that if I get on this train with them and we work together really hard, we could make it something. Because I've always known that like if he's gonna be the man to like go to the top, it'll be him for sure. Because Nixie is really dedicated. Same with Trip. And like everyone on Hype. So it's just a perfect place for me to be, I feel.
And you came in at a really interesting time, right? I think you came in just before we started. Well, I'd say pretty much blowing up this year as a team. Like you kind of came in and solidified kind of like the missing. Like just before we started picking up all the sponsorships and everything like that. Did you think, obviously coming in, that we'd have such an insane 2019 that we've had? Like, what were your like estimations for us this year as a team?
So when I first jumped on board, I was expecting a lot more. Because when I first came, I thought we were all sniping. I was like, okay, it's a sniping team. They're trying to push into other stuff. And I soon discovered like we have esports, we have content, we have a lot of like streamers, we have you that's running it. And I was like, holy cow, like this is a lot more than I expected, which is cool because I'm from a streaming background. I like streaming more than YouTube, more than sniping. I love it. So I was really excited to get on board and like see everything grow.
Amazing. And like obviously moving into your role a little bit now, tell us all a little bit about what you do in Hype in terms of community. Well, let's give us the comprehensive list. Like what's your like day to day, what's your day to day role of what you would do in the team? Because you work a lot with Fresh as well, right?
So recently I started off doing community management just because they didn't really know where I would fit in. And I was like, all right, we'll figure it out. I'll help where it needs to be. But today I get up. I currently manage the visuals Twitter. I'm pretty active on that, just retweeting our guys' stuff, interacting with them, making sure stuff's going out. I run the Instagram, the Facebook, and sort of the LinkedIn. It's not really much to post on there currently, but I am trying to grow the Instagram to 10K so we can unlock special features for it and help us with marketing a little more.
How many are we at just right now, just as a curiosity?
We are at 8,200 and something. So
that's been flying up.
Really good progress. Yeah. When I first joined in April, we had about 3K.
Wow.
So
okay. That's huge.
Gone up quite a bit. Just grinding it. So it's been a grind. I'm really aiming for that 10K before the end of the year. I think we can. I'm almost positive we can hit it. We're killing it right now.
So a lot of your time is obviously managed up with social media and all that kind of stuff. And as well as that, as a community manager, you're expected to be kind of like the face of the team, right? You're expected to be the one who goes out there, sorts any issues, any problems, anything like that, and making sure that the community feel welcomed into things. I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit now, I mean, because I'm interested to know, since being in Hype, what's been the most difficult decision that you've had to deal with as community manager?
So I think the hard part of being in Hype is even if your management, since we have so many management that do like different things, it's hard not to overstep your boundaries because everyone has their part. And like seeing people do things a certain way and then you know that like it can be done better. It's hard to like not budge in and say, hey, let's do this differently, especially when like I guess higher ups are doing it too, or like someone that's been here longer. It's hard to like overstep your boundaries and not seem like a bad guy, which I am very. I don't like being in confrontation, so I just don't say anything until like it needs to be.
But do you not honestly think that like it would be better it being said so we can actually make that progression forward? Because sometimes you'll see it and someone else won't.
Yeah, I usually bring it up in the management, but like in the moment of time. Like if it's not that serious, I won't bring it up. But I usually do bring it up in management chat. I'm always chatting in there about something, whether it's the way the brand looks or who's saying who or who's saying what about the brand. Or I'm very keen on watching for that kind of stuff. I do really care about Hype and I want it to be the best it can. So every time someone says something about Hype, I always take it into consideration about how things can be run better, how it can look better, and like just overall. So it's I don't know. I'm very weird. I'm very particular about things.
That's good though, but surely it's your role. You need to be kind of like a perfectionist, right? You want it.
Yeah.
We want to have the best reputation out there with the community and stuff like that. That being said, if anybody in the chat does have questions, please feel free to throw them in. I actually haven't answered that question yet, Sergeant Green. Somebody asked how old you are, Anchor. I'm actually interested to know as well.
I am 23, believe it or not. I'll be 24 in December.
I think you kind of look your age, if maybe not, maybe a little bit younger. Definitely got that baby face.
I do.
Yeah, you definitely look around your age. So there you go, chat. 23, almost 24. So we were speaking about his role within the team and kind of like his hardest, the hardest experiences and things that he's had to go through since being here. What has been your best experience since being in the team? Let's flip it over. And has there been a point where you just sat there and thought, fuck yes, this is amazing?
When I first joined the team, I was pretty skeptical because I was like, you know what, like they're just getting into esports, and that transition into esports is very difficult.
Yeah.
It's something that's makes and breaks a lot of teams. So what I knew it was like a serious thing, and like this is legit. When I went to MSI and met Trip, met Ninxie, and met everyone, I was like, this is it. Like it's finally coming to the point where I've always wanted to be. Like, I want to be in a team that's doing this kind of stuff. So that was probably my best time so far. It was just being at MSI, hanging out with everyone. It was a blast.
Yeah, because meeting the management and meeting the execs brings a whole different feeling to things, right? Like it gives you that perspective of like knowing exactly the people that you're dealing with and not just behind a camera. So it's like a whole different ball game.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, man. Because like I've been to like plenty of events like my years in the community, and finally like being on the administrative side or like the behind the scenes is like a whole nother picture. It's crazy.
And you say about esports and the transition over. Obviously, you've got a little bit of experience with that as well, with dealing with that, right? Can you give us a little bit of insight onto, because especially there's so many teams out there that are looking to get into esports and want to know about that process. Can you give us just a short version of the process on how a team would get into esports?
So the one mistake I see from a lot of teams is making empty promises. And that's like a huge thing. Is there's a lot of teams that go out and say, hey, we can promise you this, 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 and this, but don't deliver. And from there, you're already ruining your reputation. Like, I don't want to drop names because
you don't need to name call. Don't worry, it's all good, bro.
But there's a lot of teams that just make empty promises. They lose the trust of players. Then the players talk. The community starts talking, and then that's it. And I think Hype's done a really good way of counteracting that, where they're not making promises, but they're setting the teams up for the future.
Yeah.
So when we can give, we will, which has been awesome.
And you recently went to a Halo event, right? How did you find that? You get to see some of our people compete over there. Was any of our guys there?
No, sadly, I was supposed to meet a past member there, but they didn't end up going.
Okay.
I've been in the Halo community since like 2011, pretty early, I guess, like for when I started playing games. But I have a retired Halo Pro friend. His name's IC Chiller.
Okay.
He used to be a part of Straight Rippin' back in like 2002.
Oh, that's
like
my team right there, bro. I love Straight Rippin'.
Yeah. So we've been really good friends. I've been out to a few events with him. He hosts a lot of events himself. He's a tournament organizer, and he works for like DreamHack. He works for UGC, a bunch of different places. And he wants me to be a part of his team when he goes to events. So I help do floor admin stuff, all kinds of stuff on the floor during events.
Awesome. So clearly something you're passionate about, something that you love. Same with me, massive Halo fan. That alongside Call of Duty are my two favorite franchises. So that coming out on PC soon, whenever it decides to drop, it's gonna be it's gonna be a game changer for the series, right? I can't wait. What was I about to ask you? So we said about Halo. As well as that, the reason that why Hype is so well recognized, especially, is that we try not to follow the route of everybody else. We try and make our own destiny, because you see a lot of these teams, especially startup teams, right, almost have exactly the same bios. They have their own name with their own hashtag, and they follow the same kind of trends. And the reason that I like us is because we try and do different things. Why do you think that? Obviously, there are people that that don't like us, don't respect us. Every team has haters, but why do you think we are so well respected in most communities out there versus potentially other teams?
Well, I think a big thing with Hype is we aid to a lot of different communities at once, which isn't normal because like esports team, they aid usually to esports, viewers, investors, stuff like that. But Hype is very all over the spectrum where we have esports, we have sniping, we have content, we have streaming, which isn't very common. So it makes it a place where everyone can be at once, if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
And we get into all kinds of games. So it just gives us the opportunity to be in all different communities and have fun. Because that's, at the end of the day, it should be about having fun and business. But
we speak about business, right? And a little insight into some of the guys who are in the chat that may not know. One of the big things that we talk about in a lot of the meetings is that eventually all of us want to do this full time as our career. Obviously, this is something I already do for my career, Hype or not. This is my career, but I would love to be, doing this alongside Hype as their career, Anchor doing this as a full-time job, the execs being able to put all their time and effort into it. How hard is that transition from doing it for something just for fun to being able to get into making it a full-time thing, like big teams like FaZe, Saw and whatnot to get to that level?
So my vision on it, or my like view on it, is it's all about the money at that point. And like you have to have a consistent flow of cash coming in and cash going out, because that's what makes a business go. It's money. Is as much as I hate to say it, because people get behind money and things kind of go sideways. We've seen it all over the place, but money is what makes everything go, especially esports nowadays.
Yeah, and we've made a lot of strides to that in terms of sponsorships, esports, and stuff like that. It'll be interesting to see what happens for us if we can ever make that transition into, our whole exec management team able to do this full time in the future when it comes to that. That also being said, we keep that there's constant hints at like hype houses and stuff. 2020 being the year where we're able to make the strides. This year, I feel like we set the foundation for the future. Moving forward for the rest of 2019, 2020, where you think this team's going to go from now?
So I can't, I mean, of course,
question,
NDAs, right? We can't say much, but, just be ready, because, things with Hype go fast in the sense of like, we do something and it's not just like hashtag big moves coming. It's literally like, it's about to punch you in the face. It's coming. Like it's going to hit you like a brick wall.
And we seem to like to do things 3-4 times at once, right? Like it's not like just boom, here's one announcement. It's like boom, here's one sponsor, boom, then we smacked another one. Then we hit another one, then we picked up respawns, and it's like wow. Then we have a full foundation of sponsors, and we picked up 2 Paladin teams, 2 Smite teams that not just average, even just average players. These are all the best in their leagues, man. Like apart from obviously that 2-0 drop we had to Sanguine the other day, I don't remember the last time we've lost a game. Like we just don't lose, right? Like
loss. I think pretty sure that's our first loss so far, like this season, or the series or whatever it is.
I think it's important to capitalize as well, because esports is a very expensive thing, and if you can pick up on a team that has potential in potentially like a lower league like what we have, because all of our teams are like one league down from the top, but they're like the best in the league. So if they do end up going to LAN and eventually make it into like the Premier Leagues, that brings a lot of potential for us as a team as well. It's good to see when I go into a stream on like Mixer or on Twitch or whatever and seeing our team competing. It's just weird, man. Like it's like a surreal feeling, because when I came into Hype, we didn't have any of this, man. We had, you weren't here. We had like half a set stream team. We had no stream lead. We had no sponsors. And chat, that wasn't even that long ago, man. That was when I joined Hype end of last year. So like how that's all happened in the space of like 6 to 7 months is absolutely incredible, and I'm excited to see where we go forward as well. In terms of yourself, T Lemon, massive thank you for the subscription as well, man. Appreciate you. In terms of yourself, Anchor, where do you see yourself and your career and your ambitions with Hype going? Is community manager pretty much your end goal, or do you want to take this further?
I would love for Hype to create a media team where it would be, our in-house designers, our photographers, videographers, and like our social media guys all into a team that works under Hype to go to events, to get our pro players like, pictures, videos, stuff like that. Yeah. I would love to create something like that so all of us can travel and just hit up events all the time and just enjoy esports. Yeah. That's my goal. I would love to enjoy esports from behind the scenes.
Imagine Imagine just getting like tickets to go watch our teams play, and that's so amazing. I love that. There was a question in the chat, sorry, real quick, just before it disappears, from JL saying, what's the difference between the managers and the execs? I'm curious to know because most orgs have managers, then jump to founders. You want to explain that, or do you want me to run that one?
So executives within Hype Unit are people that you can associate with owning the team.
Yeah.
They're going to be the people that hold the shares of the team, like ownership. Yeah. Management is just people that are hired to work under the executives to make their job easier. Some of our executives do work in, I should say all of them. They do. Everyone has a job here because no one should not be doing anything. Like that's like, what's the point of like being here? Like everyone wants to do something, stay busy. Yeah. All of us are workaholic of it. Like we all love working. We all might get lazy sometimes, but we love it.
Yeah.
So
we have management meetings twice a week. There's not a lot of teams that do that, and I know that for a fact. I've been in several teams, especially twice a week. Yeah. Some do it once a month, once a week, maybe a week, but we roll twice a week, chat. That's how, together we are in working. And if you ever go into the Hype Discord, there's always a manager, there's always an exec in one of the chats that you can just chat to. And again, that comes down to community feeling, right? Like where do you get these teams where, the execs and the management will just sit there and just chat with people from the community and stuff like that? I'll be honest with you guys, in most teams, it doesn't happen. Because they just don't. They just don't. And that's what we really pride ourselves is being there and being available for the community and being available for people that might have questions. Because I'm sure you guys have always got millions of questions when it comes to the team. One point that I've been speaking about, especially recently, and I would like to hear your interest on this, right, is the hype grinders. And that's a really important segment for this show as well. People that grind for the team, right? It's so important that they don't place all their emphasis and their branding around hype in the team. Because what we look for in, let's say, grinders or people that, maybe not even going for the team or just general talent, is people that can sit on their own, right? We spoke about this in the meeting last night. We need standalone individuals who, when we bring together, make a collective group. But what we don't need is people that rely on the brand for everything that they do. So it's really important, guys, that when you are, per se, grinding, that you don't forget your own identity. You don't forget yourself as a person. That is the most important part. What's your take on that as a community manager?
So, yeah, I mean, being a stream lead of another team before, I know all about watching grinders, and it's hard to. Your job's really hard, man, because you have to be very stern with everyone. Yeah. You can't be too nice because then they're gonna take advantage of it, and it sucks to say that. It's just like being a streamer, though. If you get too close to people, you take advantage of it. It sucks, but it's part of the job.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way for us to learn, though, because we don't really get that. We're streaming all day. We don't get to have that work feel, and that's part of a job is being stern and standing your ground and understanding the barriers. With grinding, yes, you need to be able to have your own brand, because without your guys' community, we can't give you guys a community. We can show you off, but without your own community, no one's just gonna come to you from hype. No one's gonna be like, oh, you're in Hype Unit, let me watch you. No, that's not how it works. No. Believe it or not.
I wish it did.
Not even in FaZe. That's not how it works.
Yeah. So and that's something I get asked all the time. And exactly, thank you, Zoom, for even writing it in the chat. When finding new players and members, do y'all have a certain standard you look for? Look, I'll be completely frank and honest with all you guys right now. This year has been a turnover year for us, and with that, we have to increase our expectation of what we expect. There have been, we've lost several members of the team this year, not just purely out of any reason. It's because we've stepped up our work ethic, workflow, and there's certain people that for whatever reason are not able to keep up with that, or they haven't got the standard to what we fit anymore. End of the day, we can all make friends, but it's a business, it's a team, it's a lifestyle. We have to keep moving forward. And if there's people that slack, and I like the way that Trip and Ninxy talk about it. If you have people in a team, especially a stream team, that sit there and slack and don't do anything, that's actually really insulting for the people that do. You have these, you bring on these people on the team that work their ass off, they work hard, regardless of numbers, regardless of standards. They want to be something, they want to make something of themselves, and you can see that. And then you have other people in the team that may sit there and not work that same effort. Sometimes it's not their fault. However, as a team, we have to look at, what's important for us. And if we have people that are there just kind of sitting there and not providing their weight on the team, then we have to make an option or a decision as a team to move forward. Again, Anchor, if you could provide us your opinion, your thought on that as well.
So, yeah, I mean, if I were to pull in I shouldn't say but if we were to pull in someone that's a very big streamer, pulls in lots of numbers, and they're grinding their butt off every single day, streaming 9-10 hours a day, and then we pull in someone that we just know him, he's a friend of ours and he doesn't stream, but he's on the stream team. It's kind of insulting that he had to grind his way here, and we're just pulling on someone that doesn't do anything. It's like, it's one of those awkward scenarios that I think every team should avoid. Like, you can have friendships and you can have business. Like, don't get them mixed up. It's a common mistake.
Yeah, and Zoom, there definitely everyone has their own special case. Depending on, we're out there again. We roughly explain it is that what we're looking for is talent, and as the team gets bigger, we have to make sure that the talent fits to the new standard of team. Because if we don't bring in the standard to what the team is going, then we're just moving backwards. We have to find that standard. We have to make sure we push our standards higher every time. So people are going to say, we may get more and more grinders every day, and they may become more and more, upset, or they may feel like they may not be able to get into the team. It's just my counteractor to that is, why are you putting all your emphasis and all your branding in just getting into the team? What you should be doing is thinking in the back of my head, this is the team that I want to get into. But on the side of that, you should be really thinking, how do I make myself better? How do I show myself off? How do I prove myself? And the people that just crack on and get on with it and make the growth, and they are successful, versus the people that sit there and complain about why they don't get picked up, are the ones that eventually have got a lot higher chance of getting picked up. You agree on that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
100%
agree.
So that's kind of what it comes down to at the end of the day. And again, we have, whether it comes to, let's talk about the stream team, for example, we have a stacked roster. So if I'm going to pick anyone up to that stream team, I need to make sure that they fit into the standard that we've already got / moving forward. That's really, really important. Again, if I don't bring up to standards people, or I bring in people that aren't going to have the same work ethic as the rest of our team, it's just going to bring us down. So I have to be very selective on who we choose and what we do. But it doesn't mean we don't care about our community. The whole point about it is that it is like an exclusive process. If you go for a team like FaZe, Saw, even teams like Dare and stuff, people grind for years and years and years and still don't make it in there. All right, so just because you let's per se the word grinding for let's say months or even years, you don't get into a team. If that's a team that you really want to be there, and I don't see no excuse for this, then you won't give up. In my opinion, if you really want that, you don't give up no matter what. And that brings us down to our last 4 minutes of the interview with Anchor. Anything you want to say, bro? Field is yours. Any thanks, shout outs, anything like that at all? Go ahead.
I mean, I'm glad to be here. It's super cool. I saw Trip and Nixie and all of them on here. I was like, yo, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I think that when you're trying to go for a team, think about your stream or like whatever you do almost as a resume. Show that you have the skills to be where they are. Because if you're not like qualified for a job, you're not going to you're not going to send in your resume for it. You want to be qualified and then apply, because it doesn't make sense if does that make sense? Like, I feel like that
makes
does,
sense,
but maybe not.
I feel like because they see like the industry with us, especially, obviously there's no financial tie up in there, so it works a little bit differently. And people do think that they, if they do grind for it for long enough, that it could potentially be a thing, and it can. Like, if your content is good and you do grind long enough, then I'm not saying that you can't. There is a potential for it. But the most important part is that you don't forget about yourself. You don't forget about your branding. You don't forget about your growth, because it's you and your content and you as a person that we want to be bringing in here, not your dependence on the team to try and build it up for just clout or whatever. We aren't looking for people that are chasing clout. We are looking for people that want to get to the top and want to get to the top together. So I challenge the stream team every fucking day. Like, this stream, I've been hammering down on the stream team recently in terms of submitting content, clips, making sure we're all on the same page. If they're not on the same page, I'll bring them to the side and say, look, what's going on here? I won't do it in obviously a dickish way, but I'll be like, look, we need to step this up. You need to tell me why you're not on the same level. Because if I don't and just allow it to slack, then we all slack. All it takes is one person to bring the team down. Just want to say a massive shout out to Anchor for taking the time and effort to be here. Massive round of applause for you, my friend. Thank you for being here today, homie. And let's get some fucking emotes in the chat for my boy Anchor, please. Let's go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the interview completed and done with your boy Hype. Anchor, the community manager of the Hype Unit. Love him to bits. Absolutely amazing person, and has done a lot of things with us since picking him up for the team. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview, the insight, and what we actually look for people and content creators.